Welcome to the Spiritual and Empowerment Living with Tia podcast, a sacred place and resource for spiritually centered women who want to go from the mundane to the magical life, for overcoming fear and doubt, reconnecting with the goddess, understanding messages from spirit, and uncovering your spiritual gifts so you can finally live the life you deserve. Hello there, spiritual trailblazer, and welcome back to another awesome episode of Spiritual and Empowerment Living with Tia. I have a very special guest, and I cannot wait for you to meet her. So without further ado, we have Junaline here. She is an author, transformational life coach, inspirational speaker, access consciousness certified facilitator, and co-founder of Life Inspired, an energetic and creative platform for personal growth, offering workshops and sessions worldwide and online. Her radio show and podcast, Joy, Vulnerability, and Pizza, is available on all your favorite podcast platforms, where she and other change agents invite everyone to be, do, and have a life that they love. She travels the world facilitating access consciousness classes and her signature Create Your Magical Life workshops. You can get in contact and connect with Junaline at her website, which I will include in the description of this episode, which is junaline.com. And her Facebook is Life Inspired with Junaline. And her Instagram is Life Inspired Junaline. All, again, will be in the description of this episode. So welcome.
Thank you, Tia. I'm so excited. Thank you for this. Yeah.
I'm super excited for you to be here. And one thing I love about the guests that come on the show is where they're from. And right now you're in Lebanon. I love the connection.
Yeah, I live here. I live in Lebanon, but I am from Canada.
Okay.
Yes, but I have been living here for the last 9 years, around there. Yes. So I live and work here. And
wonderful.
I'm
Yeah.
here.
Yes. Same here. When I was on your website, I saw that, you lived and worked in so many countries, and I was just fascinated. So I'm going to dive right into this episode topic, which is working through fear and doubt. And I'm definitely going to explain why I have the words working through as opposed to other words. But the one thing that I wanted to ask you when I saw all the places you lived and worked is, do you think when it comes to working through fear and doubt that diversifying one life by including travel and even living in other places would help? Could that be a possible barrier?
Like living in different places could be a possible barrier?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. When I meant to say was to overcome fear and doubt, could changing one's life, such as uprooting, overcome fear and doubt? Is it that sometimes people are just stagnant because they lived in a certain place for a long time, or they just done something for a long time that they need to just uproot themselves and have that massive change in their life?
Right. Well, actually, it's all a choice. It's all about choices. And so in my personal experience, I chose to do that. I chose to uproot myself, to challenge myself, to have a different experience of life and living, actually. So that's the route that I took. I traveled, and it was always been my dream to actually travel and to live in different cultures and to experience the entire world, because actually I was born in the Philippines, but I as a child, my family and I immigrated to Canada, but I grew up in a small town in Canada, which was totally, a certain group of people only, like basically there's mostly white people. So it was like it's a small town in Canada with white people. And I didn't think that was just the only experience that I wanted to have, even as a child, even as a young person. I wanted to really explore what is out there. I always knew that there was a world out there. And for me, when it came that time to have that opportunity to travel and to actually live, I chose that. But that's not to say that anybody who doesn't choose something like traveling will not be able to go through fear. They will not be able to overcome fear and doubt. It's really how you see your life, how you choose to live your life, that's going to, I guess, make it or break it. It's really how you're going to make the most of it or the worst of it, wherever you are. It's not about the physical place, although it does help, like push you out of your comfort zones, literally push you out of your comfort zones, and start asking for contribution, asking to be vulnerable, because when you are traveling, you actually in this fear zone, like do the fear, like feel the fear but do it anyway, kind of thing, as people choose to travel or choose to work abroad as expatriates like myself. I have been, I guess, uprooted since I was a child from the Philippines, and I lived in Canada, and and then I lived in different parts of the world after that, which it's related to my job. I chose a job that would enable me to travel, actually. So
Nice.
yeah, I was a traveling teacher of English, so I could have that freedom to travel. So it depends on really what you would like to create in your life and what you would like to choose. So it's all really about, it's all about our choices, and it's hard for a lot of people to believe that they have a choice, but in fact, like everything that we do, be, and have is based on all the choices that we make.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it.
No.
Oh yeah, I was saying I love that because I had many conversations with people, and what I noticed is that many people have the urge to move, to go to another city, to travel, and sometimes they have the fear of, oh, if I travel, I'm afraid I'll get lost, lose my luggage. I hear the most crazy images, or I guess scenarios that they put in their mind. But every time, and myself included, I come back from traveling, is as if fear and doubt lessons in my life. It's just like it goes away a little bit more. And I think, to your point when you said, experience different cultures, things like that, is almost as if I take a little bit of the culture back with me, and I can apply something I learned from where I traveled to my current life to help me overcome something. Like, oh, okay, they did it this way in that culture, or hey, I got on a plane and I was on a plane for 13 hours. If I could do that, then I could do this.
Yes, actually, because we, as a like this massive consciousness that we have as a humanity, we all contribute, we all learn, and we gift and receive from one another. So culture, that comes to culture, that comes to language, that comes to everything. But and you realize in these times, especially of the corona times, that we are all one. We can actually connect to everyone online. There is no more separation, no barriers, nothing like at least nothing physical. So it's really easy to connect. It's easy to have every culture, everybody from all over the world be in contribution to what we are choosing to create in our lives, or whatever we are not even choosing to create in our lives. Everybody is a contribution. When it comes to fear and doubt, I think that fear and doubt is normal, although it is a lie. Fear is a lie, but that we have bought from so many, I don't know, programming that we've had, or lifetimes after lifetimes, and we make it real and solid. So it's this thing that we think it's real, and we make it real, and then we let it stop us from creating what it is that we'd like to create, or choosing what it is that we'd like to choose. Yeah, it's like,
right.
Yeah, it's just like you already have, like, okay, fear can manifest as, for example, a projection or an expectation, right? So you have a projection of what should happen, or an expectation of what's going to happen. And it doesn't work out that way. The universe doesn't work always on that way, like what you think is going to happen, or what you project and expect is going to happen. Change happens in different ways, in things that you don't necessarily expect it to be, So whenever we have this thing of an expectation already or a projection already, what should happen, what's going to happen, that's when this molecule of fear sets in. And that's what stops us from actually doing that one small thing of creating something to change. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah, like
Yes.
yeah, you have a you have a projection of like, okay, this is gonna happen. I don't know what's going to happen. Or I don't know, for example, with traveling, like you really want to go to one place and you want to experience living there, for example, for like, some time, and you're like, oh, but I don't know anyone, and what are they gonna think of me? And oh, it's such hassle, or and like you created your reality right there and then by choosing it by already.
Yeah.
You already created it. That, of course, therefore, you're not gonna choose it. It's not gonna happen. So you just wasted your energy.
Right. And we don't need it in our lives. And what you were saying about create your life, it sounds like when we focus on that, when we focus on creating, we really don't have time to direct our energy towards fear and doubt, because we are in that zone of, hey, I can do this. I'm focusing on this. Things are going to work in my favor because I'm being proactive. Whereas if we aren't focusing on creating, then it seems like fear and doubt gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Exactly. Actually, creation is this generative, expansive energy that is going to, overcome anything that you have lurking, like, your gremlins. It's going to
Yeah.
topple over whatever gremlins there is if you're constantly creating. And creation is as simple as choosing to wake up early, for example, or choosing to just, okay, I'm going to, eat a little bit more, I don't know, veggies today, or something like this. Like, it's something so simple, like a simple choice is actually a creation. For every choice that you make creates that life that you would like to have. So it doesn't have to be this big, massive, I don't know, grandiose idea of creation. Oh, my I don't know, my big business plan, or my dreams, or my dream soulmate, or whatever. It doesn't have to be that big. Every little thing is actually a creation. And every choice that you make creates your creation and creates awareness. When you are aware, then you don't really have this space and time for something that's not going to create for your life. Choice creates awareness. And that's how you
Wow, that
work.
is the first time I have heard that. Choice creates awareness.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I felt that. Choice creates awareness. That is so profound, because, like you were saying, you're keeping it simple, such as, breakfast, or whatever it is, right? Just keeping it simple. Wow. If more people can focus on, hey, you know what, I'm feeling the fear and doubt, and you mentioned it earlier, feel it, but keep doing it, keep doing whatever it is that you want to do to get to where you want to be. But start off with the simple things. And I think if we focus on the simple things, they're like building blocks. Focus
Yeah.
on one simple thing, another simple thing, another simple thing. And when you do a little bit of self-reflection, or it could be someone else notices what you're doing,
Yeah.
and they're giving you a little bit of praise, now you're thinking, oh man, look how far I've gotten.
Yeah. And it's also because it's a muscle that you need to train, right? It's like a new muscle, especially for those people that don't know that you have a choice, that every choice that you make creates. It's a new muscle to train, and you just keep training it with little things, like little reps, frequency here and there, little reps here and there. But it's being in this energy, in this space, and in this consciousness that you, as an infinite being, can have this choice to create. Every nanosecond of your life is your creation. So everything that you do and be is actually your creation. Nothing happens to you. Everything happens for you, and everything is your creation. Yeah. We get, like it's like this, I guess, this point of view. I mean, it's a point of view that I've I live by. It's like everything is my creation, and my, not necessarily my doing, it's my creation. I chose this, I created this. So it takes me out of the blame and the shame and the regret and the guilt of who or whatever, or the past, or what's anxiety about the future. It's having actually this responsibility for your life. And when you're responsible for your own choices, then you can create more. You get out of your drama and the trauma of like the stories that people have, and then you start buying them and making them yours when in fact they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
really
also
simple
true.
things. So simple. Really, really simple. And it is practice. It's kind of meditation. You can
Mm-hmm.
meditate on it. Choice creates
Oh no.
awareness.
I know
So
some
it's
people
like
are
a
like, no, I
mantra.
don't want to meditate.
No. It's just something simple. Like actually, if
Uh-huh.
we get the energy of what it really. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you then. I'm gonna ask you. So what do you perceive as this energy of choice creates awareness? This energy of choice creates awareness.
I perceive it as something that is like a cluster of things. I look at choices like a collective,
Yeah,
making choices that will steer me in the right direction. Sort of like cobblestones on a pathway. Lay that stone here. Okay, you made that choice, and just stick to the path. Stick to the path that I'm creating, and
absolutely.
then I'll get there. So I look at it as a collective.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and choice, because choices, we have infinite choices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have, as we are infinite beings, we have naturally have infinite choices and infinite possibilities. So a lot of us in this contextual reality that we live in, we think that we are limited by certain choices that we have in life. In this particular square box that we live in, we can only do this and do that, but not this or not that. It's like a linear reality. Something happened to me in the past, therefore it's going to happen again today or in the future.
Mm.
Yeah, but what if we ask the question, what, what, what else is possible? What are my choices that I'm choosing today that would create more, or that would create more awareness for me? It's like um, we don't have to buy just a limited universe. We don't have to live in a limited world. What if the opposite is true? That it's infinite, the possibilities that we
Mm.
have, that what we can create, and like what choice you can make. And by the way, choice um, is good. Every 10 seconds you can always unchoose your choice. You don't have to make it like so solid, your choice. Just because you chose something doesn't have to be okay a decision right away. Choice is just choice. It's not the answer just yet. It's just choice. It's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And you can think, okay, I chose this. No, maybe now this one. Oh, okay, not this one. And that's okay, because really the possibilities are endless. And when you can choose from all this, how do you call this? Like a buffet, like a
Mm-hmm.
buffet of
Yeah.
choices. It really is infinite. It really is infinite. What would it take for all of us to perceive, to be, and to know, and to receive that we have infinite choices every moment of our lives? Yeah.
That makes so much sense, and I really loved how you stress that you can make choice after choice after choice. And I believe part of the reason why people are in that fear and doubt zone for longer than they want to be is because they feel like once they made one choice, they have to stick with it. If they change, then they may be called a hypocrite, or you're phony or something like that. Because what if you made a choice and it just didn't work out, and now it's like, oh my gosh, here come the labels.
Well, actually, they don't. That's a decision that they made. It's not a choice, because choice actually invites more. When
Mm-hmm.
somebody it's a misapplied and misidentified definition of choice when you have decided something and you think it's unchangeable, right? Yeah, I chose this
Mm-hmm.
and therefore I decided. That's like energetically, it's like a decision already, because you don't think you can change it. You decided it.
Mm-hmm.
You have concluded that's it, that is it for you, and nothing else is going to come out of that. Yeah. So it has more like a solidity, like it's like not changeable. Whereas the energy of choice is malleable, it's acoustical, it's flexible, it's like, okay. And actually I know, because everybody is afraid to be judged of, okay, change your mind all the time, and she's schizophrenic or
Right,
whatever.
right. She's a
Right.
flake, she's
Yeah,
flaky.
it's
Yeah.
just flaky. But actually, like this is, again, like what have we made so vital and valuable and real about judgments, that we make it part of our reality in order for us not to be who we truly are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so all the judgments, the agendas and the inventions and the lies that keep us from being forward, from being who we truly be, like, so there's so many layers that we put on, like a ghillie suit on ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
that we hide who we truly be. So when we let judgment or whatever, judgment, by the way, is can be positive, right? If I say you're pretty, that's a positive judgment.
Mm-hmm.
That's not necessarily
Right.
yeah, it's like judge. So when we buy into the judgment, when we align, agree, or resist and react to a particular judgment, we get hooked either way. So what if actually everything that we receive, what we perceive as judgment, is just an interesting point of view? Everything is just an interesting point of view.
I
Yeah.
like that. Just an interesting point of view. And you really have a great grip on fairing doubt, which is why, again, I love that you came on the show to talk about this. So, was it a point in your life that you didn't realize you were experiencing fear and doubt? Because I know you talked about making choices. Was there a time in your life where you thought, oh, this was the choice I was supposed to make, but not realizing fear and doubt were driving it, until you got to this point now where you're just like, oh, that's fear and doubt, and I got it, and I'm going to do my due diligence to knock that out the ballpark?
Sure. You know what? Like, I mean, before I got to this point, I've always had that fear and doubt, but for some reason, it was actually the fear that drove me to move literally everywhere in the world.
Mm.
in
How
a
about
very
that?
strange way. In a strange way, I'm like, okay, I'm afraid, I'm gonna do it. It was really weird like that. But the thing with doubt, now that's another thing that even it's like a constant. It's a constant process for me to work on.
Mm.
From time to time, I will still be like gripped with this imposter syndrome. Like doubting
Mm-hmm.
myself, doubting my capacities, and then and then when I realized, I'm like, well, wait a minute, whose point of view is that? Who does that belong to? Like
Mm.
yeah, like this is another tool actually of access consciousness. It's like, well, wait a minute, who does this belong to? What am I making so real about this thought? Like, if I didn't believe, who would I be without this particular thought of, okay, I doubt myself, I'm not good enough. Okay, that's not actually true. I'm not good enough. Okay, what if I'm actually buying into everybody's consciousness who's in the same field of coaching or spiritual work, that they think they're not good enough? Because we are energetic beings. We tap into everybody's energies all the time.
Right.
So when I get into that, I'm like, okay, interesting. That's an interesting point of view that I have that point of view. Interesting point of view that I had that point of view. I catch myself, I have the tools now, so I could catch myself that I'm doubting myself. Yeah. And like, as infinite beings, as truly magical beings, powerful supermen and super women that we are all unique in our own way. So there is no such thing as really doubt is another lie, right? This is another lie that
Mm-hmm.
we bought. I think that we are born into this world with such greatness, and
Right.
that shows up in different ways for all of us. whatever you're doing that you are happy with and happy about yourself, I think that you are doing greatness in that one. You're being greatness. So we forget that. We forget that we are that when we start getting influenced by what we see on social media, or who's doing what and who's doing not, and things like that. The whole idea of comparison trap and the doubting sets in. So that's when we, okay, wait a minute, this doubt, is it mine? I don't doubt myself. Okay, who does it belong to? Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I say bye-bye to this doubt and then move again. That's what I do with this doubt thing, which, you know, it's like I battle with it constantly, but then again, okay, I'll step over you. It's another fear in disguise.
I wish I can clap, but I don't want to hurt anyone's ears, because when you said point of view, that makes so much sense. And that was one of the main reasons why the title of this is Working Through, because it's going to pop up. We have to address it first so we can get through it. Whenever it was a time where I was fearful of something or I doubted something, I tried to avoid it. It doesn't go anywhere. I had to work through that. And I am so grateful, so grateful that you said point of view, because that is key. When you said, is this my thought?
Yeah.
I hope everyone writes that down, takes a picture, whatever, because that's important. We are constantly being influenced by someone else's thoughts and feelings, someone else's judgment that we was talking about earlier, social media. Even if we aren't looking at social media and thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I was on vacation like her, or maybe not right now because we're all like that, but you get what I'm saying. You know, subconsciously we're storing all that. And then eventually it's going to come up to our conscious level and we might feel inadequate. We may doubt ourselves. Even if we are successful in some way, shape, or form, we are constantly receiving information day in and day out. So to have that, whose point of view is it?
Yeah, and actually,
crucial.
yeah, it is crucial. And the simple way to ask this question, for every thought, feeling, and emotion that lurks in your head, even about yourself, okay? For every thought, feeling, and emotion that you have, especially about yourself, your own judgments, whatever, you ask the question, who does this belong to? When you feel heavy, it's not yours. 99.9% of our thoughts, feelings, and emotions don't necessarily belong to us. They belong to other people that we have bought in our being, in our whatever. So when you get the sense of the energy that it's heavy, you just say, okay, this is not mine. I return to sender. Thank you very much. I'm not taking this. That's who does it belong to, right? So that's one of the things to catch your gremlins. Who does it belong to, or whatever's lurking there? Even the things that you think about yourself, especially about the things that you judge yourself for. Who does it belong to? Because sometimes all these things that we think about ourselves is coming from our programs, from our parents, or family, religion, culture, educational background, workplace. Even I don't know, another country, the news, the media, another lifetime. Who knows where the point of creation of that thought and feeling and emotion is? Yeah. And then after that, you ask, okay, interesting point. And another tool, you can, or is this interesting point of view? It's important to say interesting point of view, all right? Because everything is just an interesting point of view. Whenever you hear something, you read something on the news, what would it take for you not to align, not you, Tia, per se, I'm just in general, what would it take for people to like, okay, for every news or everything that somebody says that you would normally get offended by or with or something, you'd say, okay, to yourself, interesting point of view that she said this, interesting point of view that they are saying that, interesting point of view that I read this, interesting point of view. Just like keep saying it to yourself until the energetic charge dissipates. Because sometimes when we read something or we hear something or somebody saying something to us that we don't necessarily like and we get offended, whenever we get offended and we react and resist to we get attached to that energy, right? We get hooked. Yeah. So in order for us not to actually get attached to that and then buy it as our own point of view, just say, interesting point of view. I have this point of view of her having this point of view. Interesting point of view. She has this point of view. And even about yourself, if you find yourself judging yourself first thing in the morning, oh my God, I have gray hair. Oh my God, I'm gaining weight. Okay, interesting point of view. I have that point of view. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view.
Yes, that's me.
Yeah.
On quarantine, I've been eating a lot.
Yes, well, choice creates awareness, Tia.
I am aware of my weight gain.
Yes, and so anyway, like these two tools, if I can share them, these questions of who does it belong to, especially in these times of quarantine and isolation, who does it belong to? Because it's so easy to like, oh wow, get into the drama and trauma, and there's so many stories for other people's, crap, and then what if everything, we can see everything? What would it take for us to see everything as interesting point of view, even including our I don't know what we deem as judgments to ourselves, for ourselves? We are so addicted to judging ourselves. That is the biggest addiction. That's the biggest addiction, really, that kills. Not drugs, not alcohol, not sex, not shopping, but our addiction to judgment of ourselves. That's my interesting point of view.
Yes, because we can get in that zone of judging ourselves so much because we want to show up in our best light, or we want to be strong, whatever the case may be, that sometimes we block people out, and that fear and doubt creeps in again. What if they see that I'm not as strong as I am? And that sort of goes along the line of the imposter syndrome. But I also believe that people have good intentions and they just want to be strong and brave and all these other things. And there's that, whether it's the inner child they're protecting, or just their reputation, and having to deal with that fear and doubt is just overwhelming. So do you have any rituals, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, that also help you stay in that zone of, hey, I see you fearing doubt and you're not going to win?
Yeah, well, actually, I just shared it. So whenever I perceive this, okay, I sense something like this, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, who does this belong to? Because you can ask that question every time, and because there's always things that will happen in the day or in your circumstances, whatever that is, that these gremlins show up. So just ask the question all the time. I always ask, who does it belong to? Wait a minute, okay, I get the sense that everyone who is actually doing the same thing as I am is feeling this way. Okay, I return to this point of sender, the sender, return to sender with consciousness. Thank you very much. So I keep asking that, who does it belong to? And actually, when you keep asking who does it belong to, and I challenge you, whoever's listening to this, to ask the question for every thought, feeling, and emotion that you have, whether that's especially about you, or whether that's another person about you, or what you read. You ask the question, who does it belong to? And you just like release and dissipate every time that you get that it's not yours. That's it. It's very simple, because when we don't ask this question of who does it belong to, wow, it's so easy to make it ours. It's so easy to make that judgment ours. Just because it's in our head doesn't necessarily mean it belongs to us. But when we don't ask the question of who does it belong to, it's an automatic response system. It's already there, that we bought it. We make it solid in our body. And now it's going to be a reality, whatever that is. So if you ask the question, who does it belong to, you eliminate this thing, this energy, you eliminate right away and dissipate. I'm like, okay, that's not mine. I don't have to buy it. Simple as that. It's just a choice. Now, if you still want to keep believing it, that's another thing. But, it really is just like, who does it belong to is the thing that I use. And this tool of is interesting point of view. Because even if I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay, I have this self-doubt. Wow, interesting point of view. I think that about myself. Interesting point of view that I cannot move forward. Interesting point of view that I have this point of view that I am not good enough. Yeah, you get the energy that it's just an interesting point of view. And then when I keep saying an interesting point of view, the energy of that starts to dissipate and soften. You know, it is a muscle to build, this interesting point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And if something that is like takes you out of it's being in total allowance, it takes you out of aligning and agreeing, which is like the positive part of it, or the resistance and the reaction, which is the negative part of a point of view. When you are in total allowance means anything, you can receive everything without having a kind of charge to that particular point of view. It lessens more and more. It doesn't mean you cannot have an opinion, which is different, right? You can have your opinion. It doesn't mean you're a doormat when you are in that interesting point of view and a total allowance. It's just that you have a choice to actually align and agree with it, or see it as everything as just interesting.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So when you were talking about, asking the question over and over again, I was picturing myself just writing it down. Who interesting point is this? Where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? Is that something that you encourage people when they come to you for help to write that down, recite it, or do you say like talk it out loud? How is that approach for them to like really get down and also remember it so they can do that self-reflection?
Well, actually, the who does this belong to, it always refers to your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Because a lot of people say, oh, I feel sad. Okay, for example, these days, many people are saying, I feel sad. No, what if it's actually you are perceiving sadness? And who does it belong to? Sometimes when people say, I feel sad, but I don't know why I feel sad. Okay, well, who does it belong to? Then if you don't know who does it, or if it's, like you don't know why. And just by asking it, it doesn't mean that they have to think who does it really literally belong to, but it just gives you that awareness of like, okay, actually, yeah, it's not really mine. Like I don't feel sad. I don't have that. It gets them into that space of them. Because we've just perceived all kinds of thoughts, feelings, and emotions. When you say I am sad, unless there's a reason and justification that you are really sad, but we think that we are sad because of this and that, or whatever that is. It's like we are actually perceiving just these energies of people around us. So like this question of who does this belong to, and it's different from where this is coming from. Actually, the energy of the sentence, the question is, who does this belong to? Like, who does it belong to? Yeah, who does it belong to? Who does it belong to? And you get the heaviness. Okay, it's not mine. You just return to sender, wherever that came from. This is what I always say to people when they come with some kind of issue. I will ask them, well, who does it belong to? And if they say it's theirs, then it's theirs, and that's their issue. Or we work on whatever they have, right? But it's most of the time when I ask this question to people, they say that I don't know, like they go, I don't know, or not really mine, or I think it's mine. It's like there's when it's got that energy. Yeah, like when there's that energy, it's like, okay, it's not really yours, because you cannot affirmatively say mine. Yeah. So who does it belong to is really a magical tool that can just change your life. Just being it helps you. It's a tool of awareness. It's a tool of awareness. It's a tool that will help you just be aware, be more self-aware of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And of course, there's the interesting tool.
Yeah, this needs to be taught in middle school, because when you said you are perceiving sadness, I know that was a shift in gears for a lot of people, because as you were saying, throughout this episode is, we pick up a lot of things, and when we are dealing with fear and doubt, we are making choices. We are creating our life. And when we do that, we tend to be around people who we think are on the same path of creating our life or creating the life that they want, that, like I was saying, matches our vibe. But what if we were perceiving something and taking it as our own, and now we are taking it on a deeper level and thinking that it's us?
Exactly.
Thank you for mentioning that. What a game changer.
Yeah,
game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where we get stuck. This is where we get, oh my God, So what if a simple question opens up more possibilities, actually? So what if a simple question like, who does it belong to, could open up more for our own self-awareness?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So how, because I'm so amazed, because what you are saying, of course, makes so much sense. And you break it down so well. And I just wish it was taught early on in life, because we just absorb so much.
Yes.
And we do take on a lot of people's problems, and we put our own thoughts, feelings, concerns, etc., to the back burner. So when we do finally dive into ourselves, that shadow aspect, that stuff that's just not in the light, it's scary. And then here comes the fear and doubt, and then we kind of step back. I don't want to look at that. That's too much, too dark, too gloomy. But it's really not dark and gloomy, because you just said we're making choices.
Yeah,
creating our life.
Right, and like there's really no space for that fear and doubt when you ask who does it belong to, because it won't even enter your world. So it's just it's like this energetic Clorox for the fear and doubt, the questions.
Right. So how do you decompress? Because I feel like working through fear and doubt and helping people requires a lot of energy. So how do you decompress?
Wow, actually it does require, but also like, because I love what I do, and this is something that I don't know, I'm being it, it's different when you are doing, when you are being what you love, nothing is really draining, or nothing is really that tiring, unless you think it will drain or tire you. I just to decompress, actually I get my we have, there is in Access Consciousness this body process called Access Bars. Right now we cannot do that bars because we cannot touch each other's heads. It's actually touching the 32 points in the head, that the energy points in the head that relate to the limitations that you have in your life. It's called Access Bars, and it's a part of Access Consciousness, what I am a facilitator of. So we do these Access Bars, and in Access Consciousness there's a lot of tools, a lot of energetic tools, and a lot of questions and processes that I use to decompress. So such as questions, just simple questions as who does it belong to? The simple tool of interesting point of view, like that gets me out of my, like this mind chatter, this monkey brain, this mind tripping. Yeah, this is how I decompress, because for me, like everything is in the head. Everything can go in the head, and whatever's going in your head is affecting your body.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So, I would start with that. I decompress by that, and I decompress by walking with no phones, with nothing. With everything that's around me. I think it's very important to have this sense of presence with everything that is around you too. Just being aware with no agenda, with no thoughts, with really no, I could say I meditate, but when I used to do that, but nowadays I'm more like into the walking meditation, where I'm actually just focusing on the movement. Like whatever I'm looking at is where I am.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do is take a walk, but at nighttime. I love the nighttime air. I think it's magical. And there's something about walking at night that I love. And I
Yeah.
like that you mentioned, movement and walking, because sometimes when I say meditation, some people say, oh, I fall asleep when I meditate. I can't sit still for that long. I can't get my mind quiet. Well, here you are. Go out there in
Yeah.
nature, okay? There are
Well,
multiple
yeah,
forms of meditating.
exactly. I mean, being with nature, being in nature is a state of oneness. And that is basically the state that is we're trying to achieve in, meditation, is the state of oneness, the state, the theta, slash gamma coherence state of being all at one with all that is. Well, walking can do that without distractions, of
Mhm.
course, without your phone.
Right. Yes,
Movement, yeah,
exactly.
movement for the sake of movement is meditation, right? Whatever that is, actually, Buddhism espouses that, like, whatever you're doing, be that. You're washing dishes, you're washing
Hmm.
dishes
Yes.
without anything else
Hmm.
in mind. Yeah, so just being present and being aware and being mindful of that thing that you are being and doing at that moment. That's my simple meditation. I don't sit anymore. I used to, but I need to move. I can't sit all day in the house.
Especially now, right, where we have
Yeah.
to be in.
Oh my
I've
God.
been
Yes.
having I, I've been having dance parties. I mean, I do that anyway, but it's really been helping me.
You're doing
Yeah.
it on
So
Zoom? On Zoom?
no, just with me and my brother. Maybe I should do that on Zoom with some of my friends. Yeah, I just create an '80s playlist because I just love '80s music,
Me
and I
too.
just dance. Oh yeah, I just I just rock out, no shame. Yeah, but I also dance in public anyway, so that's another story.
I love dancing,
But
actually. I love dancing too. I used to teach Nia. I don't know if you know Nia. It's a holistic movement practice. That it,
oh,
yeah, Nia, NIA. It's founded by an American, actually, Debbie Rosas.
mm,
It's Nia, NIA, and you might find it interesting because it's a combination of dance, movement, yoga, and martial arts, and it's holistic, it's spiritual, it's really cool.
wow, I have to
But
look that up.
yeah, look it up, yeah, and it invites you to dance your body's way.
Hmm.
Interesting point of view of dancing.
Yeah, get in your own zone.
In your own
Any
zone,
final?
yes.
Yes, absolutely. Any final thoughts?
Well, so I want to invite the listeners to practice these two tools that we're talking about: the who does it belong to, and for every thought, feeling, and emotion, and interesting point of view for every thought, feeling, and emotion about you, especially about you, and especially and of course others, especially during this time, the Corona time.
Mhm.
And yes, and keep moving. Don't stop.
That's right. Don't stop.
It's soul to soul. Keep moving. Don't stop. Yeah.
That's right. Don't
Yeah.
stop. Keep on moving. Exactly. Add that to your playlist.
Yes. Back to life. Right. Yes,
Back to
exactly.
reality. Well,
We can have a dance party, Tia, next time. You will be a
right.
new. It will be a new. It will be like a dance cast. Actually, I saw on Instagram there is uh what is this? Social dancing. You know
Oh,
about
wow.
it?
I did not see that. No, I do
Everybody,
not know about that.
everybody's on Zoom dancing.
Wow. Okay. All right. I need to join one of these Zooms. I've been on house party with my friends and we've been playing the games in the house party app, but I didn't know about the Zoom social distancing dancing. Wow. All right.
Social
Someone needs to invite me to
dancing.
that party. Yeah, I
Great.
need to join that party. Well, everyone, I am sending you so many blessings. Please be kind to yourself. Until next time, take care.
Thank you.
As always, Spiritual Trailblazer, thank you for tuning in. Do make sure to stop by and visit me at tiamariejohnson.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Last but not least, be kind to yourself. I'm rooting for you, and I'm sending you so many blessings. Until next time.